What up, dude bros? I'm Frank. This is another episode of Versus. In this highly requested video, I'm covering the Twinshock versus the Rotofury. Before we can determine which one is better, let's go over sort of the basic stats of each. Starting out with the Twinshock. The Twinshock takes Nerf Mega Darts and has a capacity of 10 rounds. Its propulsion is spring-powered, and to prime it, it's a standard pump-action system. Fire modes include single fire, which is pretty standard, double fire, which is shooting 2 at once, and slam fire, holding down the trigger and firing off 2 with each prime. The overall rate of fire relative to all Nerf blasters is medium to high. On my chronograph, it achieved an average velocity of about 73 feet per second. In the physical specs, the overall blaster length was about 71 centimeters, which is about 28 inches. And it weighed in at about 1.3 kilograms, or about 2.9 pounds. That is the Twinshock. Now to the Rotofury. The Rotofury also takes Nerf Mega Darts and also has a capacity of 10 rounds. Propulsion mechanism is also spring. It's also pump action with a traditional pump action grip. And the fire modes include single fire, which is pretty standard, and slam fire, which again increases rate of fire a little bit. The Rotofury's rate of fire is slightly less than the Twinshock because during slam fire it only fires 1 per shot instead of 2. It's still rated at medium high. That rate of fire comparison is compared to all Nerf blasters, not just each other. Up on the chronograph, it achieves an average muzzle velocity of about 72 feet per second. And for blaster dimensions, the overall length is about 55 centimeters or 22 inches, with a weight of just over 870 grams or 1.9 pounds. That is the Rotofury. On paper, they're very similar blasters, making this one a really close call. Let's take it out on the firing range just so I can refresh your memory on how they operate. Starting out with the Twinshock, shooting at my blaster board's target ring. That prime action is so smooth! that one went through the target. It would have hit had it been shot. Switching over to the Rotofury. The hole. Woo! Now slam fire mode with the objective of shooting it as quickly as possible, not necessarily on target, but let's see how many I hit. Talk about mega stopping power. The chrono readings and firing velocity is about the same. I was pretty surprised though to see the Twinshock shooting a little bit more accurately than the Rotofury. I've shot less than 5 Rotofuries and definitely only 1 Twinshock, so I can't really say it's an average. I could have a limit of either blaster, I'm not sure. But I believe part of the inaccuracy of the Rotofury is attributed to this barrel, because some of the darts can bounce off that wall and can reduce your accuracy, whereas the Twinshock just has a front-loading barrel. There's nothing to interfere with the dart at all. I know, the longer the barrel, the longer the range, right? That's not true at all, and completely a joke. So that's more or less the objective or observable facts about the Twinshock and the Rotofury. Now I'm going to go over my personal pros, or what I see as advantages in each platform. Starting out with the Twinshock. First, the priming action is buttery smooth, man. It sounds very ratchety as if it's not smooth at all, but on the hand, it feels so good. I talked about it in this blaster's review, but the priming action is just super smooth. Does that help you shoot harder, further, more accurately, or like do more effective hardcore parkour to get away from the zombies? No. But it feels good. Feels so good. Next pro, I achieved slightly better accuracy with the Twinshock, as I mentioned. I didn't really notice that accuracy difference until I shot them side by side, and I was pleasantly surprised at the Twinshock because I hit a lot of the targets. Even at that relatively close range, I was expecting more of the darts to kind of swerve out of the way, so that was a nice surprise. Next, the Twinshock has the ability to fire 2 darts at once, so if you just need to guarantee the kill, you can shoot off 2 darts instead of 1. But, and also very important for the practicality of that 2-shot feature, you can very easily fire just 1 and then the second. It's much easier to activate the 2-stage trigger in 2 stages in this blaster compared to something like the rough cut, where a lot of times you'll accidentally shoot off 2 when you're only trying to shoot 1. Target shooting, slow firing, you can do whatever you want, but you start getting shot at, you're running, your adrenaline's going, it's easier to accidentally shoot off both. This trigger is much easier to activate one by one. Why would you want to do that, you ask? If you want to preserve your ammo so you don't blow your whole load super fast on accident. If you blow your load before the gunfight, then you run out and she gets all upset, so. But sometimes you just gotta go, first, woo! And also, a minor one, but something I noticed when I was test firing these, trying to shoot them off pretty quickly and reload very quickly. With all the barrels exposed up front, you could reload this actually faster than the Rotofury. These barrels are just easier to access. You have to rotate the cylinder, and it's just a little bit more challenging. It's not like a huge deal, but it is worth mentioning. It's slightly faster to load this. Those are the pros of the Twinshock. Now to the pros of the Rotofury. Number 1, with multiple parts. It is smaller, lighter, and better balanced. Shorter in length, lower in weight, and it's also more centrally located with its mass rather than being very front-heavy like the Twinshock. If it's your primary, this really shouldn't matter too much. It's noticeable, but it's not like a huge deal. But when you start slinging them, the Twinshock, because it's so front heavy, it flops around. I did test this for this video. Some serious flopation all up on my hip. And that's just very slowly walking through the home. If I was running, that thing would just be banging on my leg and it'd be bruised by the end of an HVZ Invitational. So it's a pretty big pro if you're trying to take one of these two as a secondary on a sling on your body most of the time, as you're using obviously a Strife Flywheel Master Race. Woo! And this one will just sit better on the hip and it will be more comfortable. And the next pro of the Rotofury is kind of a cheap shot, but it's that it cannot fire 2 at once. And for certain applications, like if you're super trigger happy, I am super trigger happy. Instead of using slower blasters, I typically just bring a whole lot more ammo. That's my solution, but everybody has a different approach. By only being able to fire 1 at a time, you can't blow your whole load like twice as fast by shooting 2 darts per shot. So it's a mandatory restriction. If you have self-control, like not me at all, you can use the Twinshock and just use it responsibly, but that's no fun. So if you're like me, you have to completely block yourself from like overruling yourself in a later state. So which is better, the Twinshock or the Rotofury? I had to think long and hard on this one because these platforms are just very, very similar. And it really is a pro-con battle rather than just like more features, less features or something like that. But in the universal context for most nerfers, which is better? Neither. I think they're tied. You can make an argument for one or the other, but I don't think one is like completely or just more obviously better. But that's a super boring response, so now my personal opinion, which one's better? The Twinshock. Slightly improved accuracy, 2 tactical rails, and that buttery smooth action, I'd definitely pick the Twinshock over the Rotofury. That's primarily in the context of using one blaster without a secondary, and this is my primary itself. If I had to run it on a sling, which isn't really my style, I would probably pick the Rotofury because it's just way better balanced. The flopation of the Twinshock just bouncing around on my leg off the hip would just drive me crazy super fast. But again, that's just my subjective opinion. I'd love to hear what you think because these blasters are just so similar, so I'm really curious. Leave a comment in the section below which one you would pick, but also why. Because they're so similar, what elements of these blasters makes you pick the one that you choose? Picking another blaster like, oh, the Stripes, it'll beat both of them, that's just a cop-out. I'm genuinely curious which one you would pick, the Twinshock or the Rotofury, so definitely leave me a comment in the section below. But I feel I've covered my opinion pretty thoroughly, so that concludes this video versus. If you have an idea you'd like to see featured in a future episode, leave a comment in the section below. That's this video. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, bros, stay tactical. Also, the mad tunes used in this video were made by my brother. I think they're awesome tunes, and I gotta support the bro. If you'd like to support him in making his lifelong dream come true of making an album in a professional recording studio, check out his GoFundMe. Or not, we can just sit here and rock out. Music's not playing right now, so I'm probably off beat.